Hi, I'm Mig Design, and this is Hearts of Iron 4, No Step Back, and we're playing the Soviet Union. And we're gonna get right into everything here. We'll just have a small recap. We're currently working our way through the Purge. We're at the workers' dictatorship at the moment. We are waiting for political paranoia to climb up so we can do an inspection in the Air Force. We will want to hit this one when we hit... I think we're gonna hit 20, 21 should be, since we're at 3 now. So that because this one takes 7 days, so we want to hit this one before we hit 25, so we don't get any random events. And we got loads of air experience to spend. And we're currently waiting for the political power to select a tank designer. Now from this one we will get 50 political power as well. I actually think we get 100 political power from the Purge event that pops up there too. Oh no, this is not one of the Great Purges. This is one of the in-between ones. And Great Purge is the military conspiracy down below. Alright, so let's keep the clock running here. And let's see how our aircraft are doing down here. They're doing fine, they're earning us loads of air experience. And let's get some divisions going. We'll just queue up 24 here, and they can go to Moscow. Alright, so we finished construction, and we're in May now. So let's start researching the tanks. I would love to go to Dispersed. We might want to switch the anti-tank out now. We'll keep the anti-tank going there. We can wait a little bit. We're at 150 political power. We are at 9 political paranoia. So we should be able to finish this one, I think, before... That's gonna be 50 days. And that is 7 weeks, so 7 by 3, maybe not. Let's just hang on to the political power for a little bit. And we will see what happens there. Yeah, so we can keep a track of the political paranoia here, since it's going up quite quickly now. Okay, so improved machine tools would be really nice to go for Dispersed, but we want to get the heavy tank chassis before we get the German armor treaty as well. So that we can use the research boosts on the improved chassis, these ones. So we can get those into production early enough. And start building up our proper armor divisions. We're going to convert this one into motorized division. Can actually change the name of this one already, I think. Motor rifle division, of course. And they're going to be that way. And then we're gonna make a tank division from these as well. Because this motorized division isn't very useful. So we want to make, we're gonna add some more motorized, and we're gonna remove some of the light tanks. So it's gonna be 3-6. And with some support, of course. We're gonna add the support before we pull this one off to make a tank division. We could probably clean up a little bit. We're not going to be using any paratroopers there. And we're not going to be using that template, I think. This one is... we're going to set this one as our garrison template. So let's pop in here and make them a military police, just so we remember. We still have the NKVD. These are... we want to swap this one out for engineers, probably. And maybe reduce the size of them a little bit as well. Okay, so Amelia Earhart circumnavigates the globe. That's quite an achievement. We're gonna need to put some more divisions up on the border here. Alright, so I guess that was one of the first Kirovs to finish. So we're starting to get our capital ships down here. In Rostov. Yeah, there we go. The Kirov has been completed. Now let's see what we have going here. Alright, so we have gotten one upgrade for this one. And that is upgraded anti-air guns, since we pressed this one. However, we haven't gotten one on the new chassis. If we had selected that one before we got the new chassis, we could have gotten one on the new chassis instead, which would have been nice. Let's deselect that one for now. And then we can stay on this one, I guess. This would be, we could upgrade the Kirov to this one if we wanted some more anti-air. And we just want to check quickly what design we have here. We have, we're going to add some torpedoes too, I think, for the new variant. Otherwise it's going to be pretty similar. But we are of course going to use our advancements in hull construction. I'm going to put some secondary batteries on. Don't have any radar. And the question is, do we want sonar or radar? We want to have more fire control. And we can save this slot for retrofitting a radar onto them later on. Gonna go with the better anti-air guns, medium batteries. Gonna need some more anti-air guns there. And I think we can put torpedoes only in one slot here. So we need to have our torpedoes here. And we want to have... what can we select? We can have everything on... No, yeah, we can have our catapults amidships. And we'll have another medium battery down at the stern. And this is an expensive design. We want to select the historical ones. And this will be the... We're keeping with a line here. A kit of M class. M is for modernized, of course. And that should be it. We will select the auto upgrade there while we're at it. And then we have another one there. And we will put two of these in because this one will be finished very soon. And I think we will also put in a production line for some submarines. Let's make it 10 and have these deploy up to Murmansk. This will help us with the Soviet or the German convoys once Norway has fallen, since we will be blocked out of the straits here. And maybe subs can pass here. Actually, I can't really remember how it is with the straits. Now we can, if we check there. So enemy, no, nothing can pass once the Germans control it. I'm gonna put 3 on either of those. We're gonna put another one on destroyers, I think. We're gonna get 5 once when that one finishes. And let's put another one on convoys. That gives us 3 out of the 5. If we can go with 4 here then. No, we need more destroyers. Let's put another one there. And let's get these submarines out. We will bump the convoys up to the top because we really need those. And we want to deploy these into Leningrad. And we want to deploy these into Leningrad as well. I wonder how many we have deployed elsewhere. That is the Kirov. And we are on the... Oh, we've got one of these fleets still down here. And these are the ones that are supposed to be here. What are these doing here? Okay, they got deployed here. So we want to move them away. And we have the Kirov. We wanted to join the fleet here. It's just a bunch of... we probably need to build some destroyers here too. And those are some of our submarines up in the Baltic. Let's pop them in there. Maybe we can move some of our older destroyers down. Let's take the Offray class and move them down into the Black Sea. That'll leave us with the better destroyers down here. Alright. And now we're at 195. Should be time to do the... Oh, we're way past the time. We missed that by 2 weeks, I think. Well, let's pop that one and we will cross our fingers. You really want to get this one done by the time it hits 21. Now it'll be up at 30, so it's there is a risk that we will run into a random event. Oh wait, this one decreases it by 10. As well. And that will be just at the time this one hits. And we're still a little bit late. This one should be hitting before, if you want to stop it out completely. The tire cooldown on the Air Force one we don't need, so we will cross our fingers and hope for the best. We don't yet have enough political power for the tank designer. And there we go. So let's select Morozov. I think this is the better pick for what we're doing. All of these of course have a use, but I like the reliability and maximum speed increases. And then the workers' dictatorship hits. We're down below 20, so we shouldn't get any random events. We want to continue up to socialism in one country. And this is the defensive war penalty stability modifier is nice. We really wanted to get down to this one. We get some extra civs down here. And some extra construction speed and consumer goods. That's a nice focus to have. And this one decreases the economy, trading, conscription law cost, which is also nice. And they will help keep political paranoia in check, of course. We go for socialism in one country. And now we have conspiracy in the academy. And we of course need to ensure the loyalty of all future leaders. And leave that one up there for a bit. If you want to read it, you can pause. So we're down to 0 political paranoia again, and the Japanese have invaded China. Now, as we did in Spain, we would, let's just pause that for a minute, otherwise it'll be everywhere. We would love to send volunteers, but the Soviet Union cannot send volunteers to a Chinese faction that it does not support. And to be able to gain that support, we need to get down to, we need to take one of these 3 to be able to select a faction to support. And historically they went with supporting the Kuomintang, of course. And I think the best one of these, assuming you can pull it off, is the Go by Gambit. But it's a little bit random in how you need to select a couple of decisions correctly. And I think the Chiang Kai-shek decision hasn't popped yet, anyway. And that's one of the ones that's important, and you also need to, I think, place troops on the border and improve relations and all sorts of weird shenanigans. Alright, so could get some extra war support from there. And bump it up to war economy. We should have from world tension. There should be a little bit of Anschluss happening here soon that'll drive it up a little bit more, and we might get enough from that way. So we get a few of these where different countries join the Chinese faction. Could we put this one too? No, we want to have this one for endless. We just want to burn out troops here at the moment. We're not really in that much of a hurry, of course, to actually get them out. And we're going to be fixing up some of the templates there in a bit. How are we doing for artillery? We only have 200 in being stockpiled. Maybe want to put another factory onto that. Let's take one from there. And there we go. We got one of our... We infiltrated the army as well. And that's nice. We unfortunately did not get the experience from this one either. That's a shame. We'll keep our eyes out and hopefully we'll get one when we get these. Now you could go for the steel industrial blueprints and really get ahead in industry, but I don't really like these stealing ones. They do require quite a lot of spice and investment into actually doing them as well. So we need to once again keep an eye on this one. The next thing we want to do here is forge a report. That's also going to be right in the nick of time. So we need to keep track of that one. It's going to become available, or it should become available very soon. We were a little bit late, I think, in selecting it last time by a week. So we might overshoot by another week here. Oh yeah, we're going to get a few of these during the way, so we don't have to do that quite yet. I think it's under the next focus. We'll have to keep our eyes open. So we're going to go down secure the administration now. And after that we can do the military conspiracy. We need to require another 70 days to be able to do that one. And this one is 70 days long. Okay, so we want to save the political power for the forge reports. And we also want to get Kalinin in here sometime soon. The extra stability is very nice. And it'll help out with a bunch of different things there. The last 25 points here are worth quite a lot. You get 2.5% or 2.7% more consumer goods or less consumer goods. And some extra political power gain and 10% more factory output for being at 100 compared to 75. So we want Kalinin in here next, but we need to save the 50, so again we're aiming for 200 before we select him in there. Otherwise we could start selecting theorists or more high command, which would also be useful. But we need to just keep an eye on this one. And we'll see where we end up. And hopefully the forge reports... Yeah, here we go with the... No, that's the admin. No, we got the navy back there. And if we don't get the forge reports in time, we'll have to go with the navy instead. There we go. Just in time. Oh, it's only 25. And this one reduces it by 20, so we want to wait obviously until we're above 20. And this one reduces it instantly, so we can actually wait. It doesn't really matter if we take it now or in a bit though. Okay, so we got our anti-tank guns. We can start producing them, just so we have some in stockpile. We want to go for dispersed industry to start getting it out of the way. And now we have our anti-tank. Let's grab them up for a bit. Let's just put 2 factories on anti-tank, so we start actually getting some anti-tank. We might want to upgrade the BT7s just so we up their speed to 12, because we're gonna want to have that. And now we have the designer on as well, so 2 ticks should do the trick. It'll make them a little bit more expensive, but they'll actually end up more reliable, since Morozov also increases the reliability. Well, we might actually want to pop a radio on, just because we actually have it. Now, the Russians weren't that big of fans of radios in their tanks, so maybe we'll leave that one off. The question is if it's worth to... This is a light tank and it's got riveted armor, so sloped armor isn't really going to be that useful. We just want these tanks to be cheap. We don't want to produce too many of them. The small cannon, I guess, is fine. I quite like the improved automatic cannon too. And this one is good too. They're cheaper than the cannons, of course. It's got quite the heights. A third of the production cost of the tank is the gun there. I guess we could maybe go up to 3-man turret. That also would be not very Russian. They use the 2-man turrets with autoloaders, and I believe they still do. We'll call this one, this can be the PT7A. That's fine. And they of course have the Christie suspension, so they go fast. And these were using gas engines, I believe. I had a lot of problems with the gas engines on these tanks, that they started burning very easily. Okay, let's save this one. And we need to pop out that way and we will pop in this way. And that should be fine. We're starting to get a good stockpile of trucks there. We're going to be needing them both for logistics and for when we start converting our... Yeah, we're missing tactical bombers now, so we've run out of all tactical bombers in... No, we've got some here. Why are we missing them then? They should be able to reinforce... Oh, probably because we're over the air limit, yeah. So they can't reinforce down here because we've got too many aircraft down here now. And we have too many aircraft down here because they have been shot. So many of our aircraft probably have been shot down here. You can see how many we've lost. If we put this one to months. We have lost here. Our bombers lost, yeah, we've lost 60 in the last... I don't know, last month. Can we do it in years? No, that doesn't help. So we're losing a lot more than the enemy is losing. And the same thing in this zone. And probably up here too, yeah. But this air experience is really useful. And this is mostly as 1936 fighters and the interwar bombers, so they're not too useful for us in the upcoming war. Okay, so I did count it wrong here somewhere. We got one too much there. Oh, but it's fine, we can have just one building these. They don't need to be done anytime soon. And we do want to start spending some of this air experience, I think. Now we're going to be researching the air doctrines anytime soon. We preferably not go for the doctrine, since it's 120, we'll lose 20. Actually even more if we're counting this one, we lose 35 air experience. Okay, so let's flip back to normal map mode. We will pop in, I think we will go with veteran air instructors right now. Just so we get this one. There is something to be said for this one as well, of course, and this applies to wings as they are created. So it doesn't apply to already created wings, but you can just recreate them. But I think this one is going to be... I don't actually know which one would be better if you're min-maxing, but I quite like this one. So we will select that one there. We're going to be researching aircraft sometime pretty soon. So let's just select the industry liaisons to get it out of the way. We do have the naval experience, and I don't think we're going to be using it very soon. So I think we're going to go with the night fighting one here. We're not really going to be running out of naval experience anytime soon. And there's a bunch here that we could be using. There's quite a lot here that is nice. This one, for example, gives us the... we can gain back some infantry experience, which we look here at the Red Army. We have the army experience gain. So we get that one. No, don't want to be in there. We would get that one back from that, but that's just gain from combat, of course. So it doesn't... This penalty is for everything. But the motorized and mechanized unit design cost and infantry unit design cost would be nice to have. And well, this is probably the best one in this slot. This one, there's something to be said for this one too, especially for the Soviet Union, with the supply combat penalties on core territory. It's a very good one. This one doesn't do very much for us as the Soviet Union. This is very good for small miners, not for so much for a big. But we need to use our army experience for something else, or for fixing up them. And we're probably going to go for operational reserves here. The extra HP will help preserve equipment and strength and make them fight a little bit better. Something here could also be said for going static warfare, of course, might be the better one if you're min-maxing, but I find this is a % increase to max entrenchment. If you got 10 max entrenchment, you get 11. You don't actually get, if we look here at the entrenchment bonus, they have a max entrenchment of 5 at the moment. So this would be 5.5 with the 10%. So until we add engineers, it's really not worth it. And engineers is something we of course have to add to them. And probably sooner rather than later as well. Okay, so that should be fine. We are building up our civilian economy. We'll just stop off for some more dockyards here, and then once dispersed is finished, we can build some more civs. Do we have anything down? No, they're just everywhere. We could maybe just press there. We'll have another German spy ready in case we need him. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the forged reports here before we forget them. This increases our consumer goods, of course, which is bad, and it's for 90 days. But we need to run this one because we're gonna forge the reports once again in a bit. So let's select that one. We're back down to 0, and this one has another 35 days, and it'll reduce it again by 20, and that's 7 weeks of +3. That's 21. So we're safe until the next focus fires there. And yeah, we can let this one roll again. Okay, Italy announces claims on the Yugoslavian territory. And here we go. This is the German-Soviet Treaty. Despite harsh previous rhetoric against both the people and the ideological leadership of the Soviet Union, Germany has now reached out to us, requesting a mutually beneficial research treaty. While exchanging knowledge would help our efforts to develop new tank designs, along with promises of other research benefits in the future, there is little doubt, considering previous statements, that the Germans are doing this for their own sake. Should we go forward with the agreement despite the risk of aiding Germany's ambitions? The capitalists are a worth threat to both of us. Of course, this is the correct one, with the 2 research bonuses for armor technology, and we gain access to 2 variants, which we can then upgrade into the new designs that we want to use. We also gain some trade relations, which really doesn't make a difference. And otherwise, you can gain an armor research speed of -75% for a year, lose some political power, and -50 opinion from the Germans. So obviously we want to select this one. This is a great boost to us. And if we just pop over into here, we can check the new tank designs we got. So we got the KV-1, and it's really slow. We are going to hit auto upgrade here and save that one, and it ends up being a T-35 for whatever reason, which is probably what the basic heavy tank should be. We're gonna have the KV-1 as I just wanted to rename this one. No, it doesn't really want to be renamed, it looks like. Oh well. And then we got the A20, which they built one A20, it was a prototype, and then they built the A32, which was a prototype for the T32, which was also limited production run vehicles. We're going to be going straight for the T34, and that's on the improved medium tank chassis. But we will keep this one. It's got a few of the modules we want, and it's got a few upgrades here. So let's click in auto upgrade. We will save that one, and we can obsolete the 2 prototypes. We won't be building any of these. They are, well, actually this one is almost fast enough. I want to have them at 8 kilometers per hour. This one is much too slow, so we're going to need to boost up the speed of the KV-1 when we get there, and design the actual KV-1. Alright. Okay, so let's start the clock there again. Let's just get rid of the blinking production sign. We can wait for these to get deployed, all of them. When we had 24 there. We might actually want to go in and start picking on our infantry designs. We will of course be rushing these out a little bit later to fill up all of these divisions, but for now they can actually get full equipment. And we have I think we want to just put 3 of them into each one here. Obviously we only want, if we zoom in a bit, it's going to be easier to select them. So all I'm doing is pressing S to split them out here. And we will pop them into the armies. Then the next batch we can pop into here. I think we want to have 6 additional ones for the next batch, so just to make it an even number, we can do it this way. And that should be fine. How much do we need for reinforcements? Just light tanks, alright, so priority doesn't matter for these deployments. And that's fine, they will redeploy. Oh right, we have low manpower, we only have 700,000 left. I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. And we could select Kalinin here. I think we said we were safe on political paranoia for a little bit. We're gonna get this one, and then we get 50 political power. So let's select Kalinin there. Extra stability is nice. It got us extra 1.1% consumer goods, or less consumer goods than 15% 5% factory output more, 2% more political power gain. So I think he is a very good pick. And we already have Vosnezeski here, of course. And there is something to be said for going with the Merkelov, the operative slot there too, the elusive gentleman. Alright, so France and Britain announced an alliance, and we finished security administration. Political paranoia is back down to 0. Very nice. And let's get rid of that one. We need to pause again here. And it would be really nice to just pop down here and collect up this one. And this one doesn't affect the advisors here. It's only for the laws. Otherwise, of course, it would have been nice to wait. I think this one decreases. No, maybe there isn't one. We are, however, going to go for the military conspiracy, and it's the same thing here. We need to wait for a day before we can actually select this one, which is just a bad design choice in my opinion. This is a 35-day focus, and it will reduce political paranoia by 30, or increase it by 30, and then it will reduce it by 50. So we will, during that time, we will of course gain 21, so we will be up at 51 when it hits, and then down to 1 again. And it's just the inspection again. We don't need to do the air doctrine just yet. What we're doing for our researches, yeah, they're very soon done, and then we can start with some of the air researches. So we will unpause there again. And now we can start spending our political power for the high command here, I think. So we got the basic medium tank chassis. And we of course, we got the A20, which is based on the medium tank chassis, but we didn't actually have the chassis ourselves. And we need that to be able to make the medium tanks with the armor bonus. That's also why we wanted to pick up the basic armor before, so we can select welded armor on the tanks without having to use a research boost for this one. And we're going to use the research boost for the improved variants, but we won't do that just yet. It's a little bit too ahead of time for my taste, and we're not going to start producing them right now anyway. So we want to design some aircraft. We want some better tactical bombers. And the Soviet Union used a lot of tactical bombers, and this is The Tupolev SB is an upgraded version of the DB3. You can kind of see the similarity on them too. But and that brings it down to 158 days with the research boost we have in the industry liaisons. Industry liaisons should reduce it by 30 days. That's quite a lot. So we'll select that one to get it out of the way. And unpause again, of course. Waiting for that one. We are at 100% communist support, of course. That's quite nice. And there goes the basic heavy tank chassis as well. And we are in November of 37. So I think we want to pop over and do the computing machine. The ahead of time penalty here isn't too nice. So it adds another little bit onto this, but we do have enough research speed bonus to actually negate that the base cost is 250. I think somewhere from November it's okay to do these. Before that it's hard pressed from the extra research speed to actually make back the extra time spent on researching them. But this is close enough. And then for aircraft, we're not going to be building any of these ones. The LBSH. I think it was called the R10 when it was in service, but that's this one. This is the exact same aircraft. It was just used in two different roles, and there was not a lot of them built. We're of course going to go heavy into the Illusion 2 Sturmovix later on. We're going to rename the Lag 3s to Yak 1s probably, and this one's probably going to be the Yak 9. Makes more sense that way, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We want some research boosts for that one, I think. Alright, so let's keep going. We do have they're all the way down here, I think, before we get the research boosts for light aircraft. And I don't think we get that before 1940. I'll have to look at my notes. We'll get to it when we get to it, though. There's a lot of generals falling in here this winter. Luckily we're not at war. Okay, so we got some free dockyards again. I think we are currently building them. Yes, we are. So we don't have any free slots in our big towns. So let's find one of these 60% slots out here. Let's go for Ufa, which has quite a lot of slots. Just get some more. We probably want to have 2 lines running with civilian factories, and then we can have one churning out a little bit of other things that we need. Most importantly, of course, military factories and naval dockyards. Probably don't need to build any infrastructure or air bases or things. Of course, if you want to hold the line here, or you want to hold the what everyone calls the river line here, along the Danube up this way, or the Dnieper, and then you have the what was this one called? Vistula. No, Vistula is another one, isn't it? No, Vina, it is. This is the Vina, or Daugva, depending on which language you're speaking. And then the Dnieper. It's a very good defensive line, of course, too. But then you need to build some. I think you need to build a supply hub or a port somewhere down here to supply this area, and you need to build a supply hub somewhere up here by Kiev somewhere, since it's on the wrong side here. The supply hub is in Kiev, and Kiev's, if you're holding the river line, of course, it's gonna fall. We're not gonna be building any static defenses or entrenching into position like that. We're gonna fight back, and we're gonna let the Germans push us as much as they need to until we're able to stop them deep in our country, where we can make them hurt even more. Alright, so maybe we want to churn out some more destroyers. And then we can add another factory to the Kirov M classes. And they will be done at the start of 39. And it'll go even quicker, of course, with the new and improved. Now, the Soviet Union also did build battleships, not the Marats, but they never finished them, of course. They were going to build 15 battleships, I think. They had a great grand scheme of building. They also had projects for building aircraft carriers before the start of World War II, and I don't think any of them were ever laid down. And we're a little bit hard pressed for research to meet all of that. So this is the third Great Purge event, the trial of the generals. Evidence that there is a large Trotskyist network in the army is quickly growing. Each day, the NKVD is arresting new suspects implicated in previous confessions. These people often in turn reveal the names of further co-conspirators. It will take time to track down all the generals who are part of this conspiracy, but it is clear that the list below represents a significant fraction of it. Those whose guilt has been proven by their confessions. All traitors must pay the ultimate price. And this, of course, is not very fun. Let's just... I think we'll just press OK there and do it a little bit quick that way and see if we can get up the list of generals here before. So we have Tukhachevsky, which is a really good field marshal. He is the first to go, and then we have Yegerov. I think we can actually sort these by skills, and we should find most of them. Here we got Yegerov, also field marshal, also quite good. And then we got Blucher and Primakov. And Blucher is down here, and Primakov is there. Also quite high level generals and quite good. He's the maneuver expert, and Yegerov is the defense expert. Tukhachevsky is the mass assault expert. So selecting these early will of course have repercussions when you get this far. And then we also lose... Oh, it gets Yegerov, Blucher and Tukhachevsky again. This of course is the scripted for generals that you will lose. So if you don't have any random purges in the army, you will always lose these. Otherwise, if they're already gone, they will be replaced by others. We have, we're only up at 45 political paranoia. We of course want to get rid of it anyway. And 5 army leaders will get the trait cowed by Stalin, which is not a very nice trait to have. We can click that one. We're back down to 0 paranoia. And let's see if we search. We can see that Zhukov, Rokossovsky, Golikov, Bezarin and Lilushenko got the cowed by Stalin. And this of course is a terrible stat. Especially the attack and defense -2. And luckily this one is not permanent. You get to remove it once you get down. Oh, this one's over here of course. No, it's over this way. So big this tree. You get to remove it from the lessons of war. But this one takes 1 year to, after you've done desperate measures, you need to wait 365 days or 1 year until you can do lessons of war. And you can't do this one until you're at war with a major. So that's when Barbarossa starts. Okay, so let's see where we are. Oh, yeah, we're already in here, right? So let's just see where we are going. We have a little bit of time now since we're down at 0 again. And we want to go start off this way. We're going to go the threat from the land of the rising sun and into support the Kuomintang. But before we can actually take this one, we need to go back to the Purge. But we have 35 days that we can actually do something else with here. So let's select that one. And this one's going to be up to 21 by the time this one finishes, right? Yeah, it should be. We can select Army Commander 2, I think, and we can select between, I would say, Koniev or... And then we have, if we would rather have... no, where is he? No, here. Isn't he? I'm looking for Merkulov. I can't remember exactly which type he is. I wasn't in there either. And you can't search these ones either. Okay, well, obviously we're going with the Koniev then. And it's just for the... We're gonna need the enemy air support. His stat there, the concealment expert. It's a really good one for the Soviet Union when you're fighting Barbarossa with without aerial supremacy. We're probably not going to have aerial supremacy, where if we can contest the air, that's good. That's about how we're going to be. And we need the army experience gain, of course, so that's why we want to start picking some high command. We'll pick him up. And yeah, well, let the clock roll again. And we're starting to get close up here on air experience as well. So it's about time we start selecting our aircraft designer. And I think it's a little bit sad that all of these other designers are so much worse than this one. The fighter agility and max speed is just so good. What do we get for decisions? Oh yes, just said that we can do the Navy. That's going to be the next one we do again, of course. But we can wait a little bit more. It's not until we actually started the next. Actually, I think we want to pick it right when we start the next focus. Now we got a little bit more. Oh yeah, this is a 5-week focus. Of course, we only got 15. So now it would be nice to go straight for the Kuomintang, but we're not that lucky. We need to keep going down this way. And we're gonna go for the collectivization process this time. Now this lowers our stability a bit, which isn't too nice, but we do get 2 civilian factories in Belgorod. Belgorod is not the best place, I think. That is, we might be able to actually keep this here. By Kharkov. This is a hard place to defend, because as soon as they're over the Dnieper, there's loads of planes in here. There's a few forests that you can kind of lynch your defenses on, and we've got a small river here that might be able to defend on. But if they still got their untrimmed Barbarossa boost, it's hard to keep holding on there, and you usually get pushed back all the way down to here if you haven't stopped them at the Dnieper. And we're not building the infrastructures to stop them at the Dnieper down here in the south. There's a lot of plains, so it's quite easy river to cross compared to other large rivers, unless you put up some forts behind and do some other things. Belgorod's okay, it could be worse. We're gonna get to keep them for quite some time. So let's select the collectivization process. And let's pop into here, because we're gonna need to watch political paranoia. And again here we're looking for 21. Once that is at 21, we want to do an inspection. It doesn't matter if you do inspection in the Navy or the Air Force. But I usually pick the Navy here. But it doesn't matter, you need to do one of them. Doing the Army means you run a risk of losing a general. Losing a Admiral isn't too bad, it's a 50% chance of it. And it's 50% chance to get the anti-saboteur campaign, since we got conspiracy in the academy last time. And here we can only get the anti-saboteur campaign. And once we do this one, it'll remove both of the anti-Soviet military thinking band penalties for 50 political power. So it's not too bad there. So inspect the Navy we will do. and we will see where we end up. And so this one's of course going to tick up to 24. Penny incident. And immediately get removed down to 0. Okay, so Admiral Arseny Golovkov is accused of treason. This is basically one of the random events you can get, but we did pick it ourselves. So we knew that was a Navy guy that would get exterminated and not one of the Army guys or Army generals. And I think he's probably one of our better admirals too. Yeah, he's our highest skill admiral. And Cold Water expert, of course, would be nice to have. But we will make do with which ones we have for when we need to set up our fleets, and we can always recruit a few new ones. We might want to spend our command power in starting to put on some traits. We should probably have been doing that earlier. And we don't want to do this, of course, because that will lead to loads of political paranoia. There is no place in the Navy for such men. Thank you for your service. Okay, let's pop into the officer corps here again and into the generals. And we of course have our 4 that we want to promote up here at the top. We got Konev, Timoshenko, Shadovichenko and Zhukov. So let's select here. Costs a little bit and recently promoted. Yeah, it's better to do that now so we don't have that later on, and it gets more expensive for each one we promote, of course. Alright, and I think we might want to put these into their respective commands as well. So that's just going to get that list up so I can see exactly where I want them. We still have one commander that we're missing, and that's for this group. That's Enrique Lister, which we will get when the Spanish Civil War ends. So we have Konev here. And then we have Zhukov on the southwestern front. And yes, he gets reassigned. Then we have Timoshenko on the southern front. No, that's... where are we? No, now we're out bicycling again. Yeah, Konev should be here. On the northwestern army. And Zhukov should be on the western front, of course. There's so many different armies here that it's easy to look wrong in the... I can select... we want Shevchenko there on the southern front and Timoshenko here on the southwestern front. Now the en route penalty of course doesn't matter at all, because here we have the northern front, we got them separated down here. And here's where Enrique Lister is gonna be. And then we left some of our mobile divisions here without a commander. That's fine. We will integrate them into somewhere else. They're just sitting in Stalingrad, but we're going to use them for the invasion here invasion of Iran later on. So that's why we're kind of keeping them separate in a way. And let's see how we're doing for... Okay, so we're stuck on infantry equipment, waiting for loads of it. Let's have these deploy up in Moscow too. And we're starting to get quite a lot of army experience. Maybe we can pop in the basics here. So we want to have... what do we want to have here? So we want to have the engineers, of course. I hate when it does that. Yeah, let's pick something. We want to have... I would like to have the engineers at the top. Then we have the support artillery, and then we have the support anti-air. So that's our support companies. And actually, I think before we do that, because we want some support on these ones, we're going to convert them into something else. But we will do it this way. We'll duplicate this one, and this will be the, I think we have a naming scheme for it. No. I was looking for a rifle brigade, but we don't have a rifle brigade, we have a tank brigade. We don't have any other kind of brigades. Brigades, of course, is what would generally be one line here. And we don't want to have them as the guards either. And they're not cavalry, and they're not motor rifles. And they're not tank brigades. Let's just have them as... they can stick with the NKVD naming scheme. And this would, let's keep with the Russian names here, or Soviet names. Kovaya Brigada. I'm fairly sure it's Brigada. Yeah. And we're gonna remove some of these infantries later, but we do want to have the support artillery there. It's okay for them to be at the default. So we'll just save that one there, move it up a bit, and we can have these as... let's put them as garrisons, then we know that these are the lower quality ones. And this one could... we want to get rid of these anyway, and let's just decommission them. We don't need that template anymore. And then we've got... and we're making changes to the template that we do have in the field to support artillery, support anti-air, and we want to add artillery here as well. Since the Soviet divisions had a lot of artillery, they had more than most other countries. So we'll bump in a line artillery there as well. We could actually have 2 artillery divisions, and it would be... that's a little bit too many guns. I think they had somewhere like 50 to 60 bigger caliber artillery guns. We'll leave it at this for now. I don't think we've got enough artillery for these divisions anyway. Yeah, no, we're missing 5,000 artillery units. That's fine. We will bump up artillery production a little bit. And we can... no, we don't want to convert these, convert anything into this one just yet. We want to have the bayonet strength before we make any changes to that template. Or start making any changes to the infantry units. Because that of course reduces that makes it free to remove or add more infantry units. I don't think it does, yeah, maybe it does it for artillery too, so maybe we could have saved 5 there. Oh well. We'll get enough army experience. Okay, what do we have going? We just got... no? Yeah, we got 50 political power, so they opened up as possibilities again. And we're starting to get up high on the air experience again. And we should be able to make 150 political power before this one hits 500. Oh, there's loads of these coming now. There we go. They're all for Germany and other countries. Germany and India. Okay, so we've got more going. How are we doing over here? Okay, they've lost Madrid. And they only need, if they lose, or when they lose Valencia and Malaga, their war will be over here. And it'll just be the regional defense council left, and they won't be able to stand up. The Spanish Civil War has soon reached its conclusion. Yeah, I think we want to start building a few more military factories. And for military factories we want to build them east of the Urals. Because we are gonna go for... the Soviet Union has a nice focus down here, the Tankograd. Which means we get 1 free military factories for each state in the Far East that has at least 3 military factories. So obviously we want to have 10 states in the east here with 3 military factories. So we've only got 2 slots here. And that one's on the west. I don't know if this one counts anyway. Sverdlovsk does count, and it already has 2. And let's build 1 there. We have 1 here in Omsk. Let's build 2 more there. And that's it. Civilian factories down in Tashkent, otherwise that would be a decent one to choose as well. That's a good location for civilian factories though. Then we have just one slot here in Irkutsk. Here we have one civilian factory. We'll just start with the ones, the low-hanging fruit. We should get more slots in these later on. Okay, so let's select there. We don't have very good infrastructure in anything over here, of course. So, and that's kind of the drawback you're building in your low infrastructure slots. Here we go. We can have a few in there too, so that's 4 of them done. I think we want to do one more before we get the extra building slots. I don't know if we can do one more. Yeah, no, we got some extra infrastructure from the focus over there. I would like to have another 41 with 3 slots. I want to build. Yeah, here we go. That one's fine. And then we will build in Tashkent. We will build up some more civilian industry, and we will move that up to. As in March, we need to move that one up. It's very soon. Okay, and this one finishes in. And about the same time. Okay, so when that one finishes, we'll move the construction of the. Up there. Okay, so we got a double agent. And we captured a Turkish operative. I've noticed in Expert AI that we're gonna get a lot of these agents captured and agents killed. Okay, we're starting to get more divisions out here. That's nice. We will let them all deploy before we do anything with them. And these are all missing the loads of artillery. So it might actually be better off to force deploy them out. I'm going to add some anti-air, and we're going to add some more factories too. Probably need more than that. That's that. We're going to need loads and loads and loads of artillery. And also support equipment. We got a lot of divisions coming. And of course, guns is also good to have. Let's move that one down and we can add some more there. An anti-tank, we're just building them to stockpile them, and then we can add them to we can make an anti-tank template and convert 1 or 2 units to it when we need them, where we need them. Oh yeah, and we can probably bump up the naval repair queue a bit. Yeah, let them use every single one. Okay, so we completed the collectivization process. This one is done tomorrow. Can let it roll over. And that means we can move the Tashkent ones up. And then we don't have to worry about that for about a year probably. Okay, so we finished the collectivization process. And that means we want to go for... Oh, we're not here, we're still working over here. We want to go for centralization and discipline. And it increases our mobilization speed, which is going to be nice when we need to mobilize loads of troops. And we're approaching that time. How we're doing for... Yeah, our political paranoia is back down again. And I think... Yeah, this one reduces it by 20, and it's a 35-day focus, so that one should sort itself out. We should be back at 0 after that one. Let's see what we want to spend our Yeah, we're saving up for the aircraft designer, of course. No, we'll let those be there. Yeah, we're fine. And we can... Our infiltrations have disappeared, it seems like. And we wanted to just a civilian. Civilian administration. Well, let's can't infiltrate the army. That would be nice to infiltrate the army again. Let's check what they're doing. They're doing air innovations, and they have started to put factories onto aircraft now, which means their air force is probably ballooning out of control anytime soon. Got a lot of naval intel too, and they built a quite sizable fleet. It doesn't look like they've got the Scharnhorst or Gnese now into the water yet. But from my experience, they do get them into the water in Expert AI. So that's something we'll have to be fighting as well. I can't see how many they've got there. But they're starting to build airplanes now, and that's the important one for us to look at. And they've got 3 building capital ships. They don't have very many naval dockyards either, so. And they haven't started building military fighters. They've been concentrating on their civilian industry. But they've switched it over to aircraft production now. Okay, so we finished dispersed industry. And it would be nice to start getting the excavation techs. We will be needing them. Can also get their radio, of course. And we can't do anything there. We could start getting... No, it's too early for those two. Too early for anything here. Too early for anything here. No, we could actually start working on the trains. We're gonna need to start producing trains, and armored trains, of course, are more Soviet than the cheapo trains. So we're gonna go with the armored trains. And these are actually very good when you're getting logistically bombed. They soak a lot of damage. Okay, so let this loose again. And yeah, this one we can just let run and it'll take care of itself. It's a good way to deal with paranoia, because it removes any political paranoia that you have, or that is produced during the time it runs. The focus in itself isn't super good. And of course we got war economy down here too, but you lose a lot of stability by switching it this way. Alright, so we finished the tactical bombers. We can put them into production. And we could start off with the close air support just to get them out of the way, so we can use the research boosts somewhere else. And let's start getting some tactical bombers in here. And I think we might want to assign... I don't know. It's gonna be a while before we actually start building these anyway. These are probably more important there, and then we can start increasing the fighter numbers just a little bit more as well. We should have both fighters and... yeah, we've got a bunch of fighters here in stockpile. The I-15s, of course, are not that useful, but we can use them and try to fit them in where the Germans are not attacking. Then we gain some political power from this one as well. So that political power can go into the next one we need to do here. Another enemy agent was turned. And we finished centralization and discipline. And this means we have the political power to want to add in the Mig Design Bureau. And this time it would probably be Yakolev that was the light aircraft designer. They made the, from what I understand, the most liked fighters of the Soviet Union. We'll select Mig there, and we got a bunch of air experience there. We can just spend a little bit. Now I think on the 1936 variants, one upgrade into weapons is better than one into engines, but after the first one into weapons you want to max out your engines. So we'll do this and just we might have a tiny bit of an edge against the Germans. This also should add the Mig Design Bureau to this, which is the whole reason we're actually upgrading it. So we gain a little bit extra agility, and if we compare them, this one has 50 agility and 500 kilometers per hour. And this one is 545 with 52 agility. And we get some extra air attack. Of course we want to decommission this one. And we will start producing these instead. I don't think we want to convert them though, do we? No, we don't have. The only thing it makes a difference on in resource management at the moment. We have the same production because we haven't research, of course. If you want to convert them, you want to research these. Otherwise, you're only saving resources. If you convert these, you'll save IC as well. Alright, so let's deal with the centralization and discipline. And we could go down to war economy, but we don't have time to make that stop off, and we're hopefully gonna be above 50% soon anyway. So we're gonna go for behead the snake here, and this decreases political paranoia by 30. That's quite a lot. So that should keep us safe until this one is done. We are down, and here we get Ramon Mesade, who was the one who assassinated Trotsky. So that's going to be his mission in this playthrough too, of course. And we are down at 0 political paranoia. So this one will again put it down to 0 once it's done, so we don't have to keep watching that. And a South African operative. And we're going to be catching a lot of these. And who do we have in low supply? Don't think any of these are in so low supply that they are suffering though. We obviously wouldn't want to have them suffering attrition, and if you got them right on the border, they usually will. Okay, so we got loads of supply going down here again. This way, let's just block them off. We can have our supply. That's a bad place to supply from. And yeah, the railway line here is connected up. And it's connected up through Stalingrad. We might want to build a railway on the eastern side of the river there, but railways are quick to build, so we can do that once it's needed. Alright, so behead the snake is done, and once again we are at 0 political paranoia. And we have to wait one more day before we can go block off the rights and Trotskyites, and this one will end the Great Purge. So let's just flip over one day. Very nice. And this also means we have we need to wait 28 days, of course, before we get him. Maybe we should do one of these while we're waiting. Could we infiltrate the navy? I would like to infiltrate the army instead. Maybe we could prepare a collaboration government. Yeah, why not? Resume mission. Send our spies in there. And that means we just have a collaboration government for when we are actually pushing them back. It might come in handy in the future. And we wanted to... maybe we want to start designing our tank templates. But I think that'll have to wait for the next episode. I just noticed that I'm probably about 10 to 15 minutes too long for this episode. So thank you all for watching. Take care and see you next time.